Alright, what is going on, guys? This is episode 5 of Talking to Myself, and in this episode, I'm going to be talking about masculinity. And I have to do a quick disclaimer again on this one because I did a take of this just previously and I wasn't happy with how it went, so I'm just doing a retake basically. I couldn't bother to edit it, so I just thought, record it again. Why not? Alright, so this is my take on masculinity, and it's also using what works in society and what doesn't work, and then saying what I believe is the best way to approach this masculinity. Because at the moment, I do see masculinity as something that has gone down the wrong direction. We seem to have two extremes. There seems to be this wannabe alpha personality type, and this is described as more of like a macho sort of person that's, dominant, loud, assertive, can even be muscular and big built in this case. And is not so emotional, not in touch with the emotional side. And there seems to be the flip of this, which is more of a passive. We could call this quote unquote a beta male, or in this case we can see a very feminine type of male. So the beta male is obviously a more passive type of person. This is someone that's more submissive, maybe is less confident in themselves, less assertive, not quite as loud. And not only this, but kind of linked to this is now we often see in the men are looking to be more feminine. So obviously with the whole, I don't know what the correct terminology is, but there's, I guess, the whole wokeism trend going on. Men are obviously, there's not as anything wrong with this. Men are becoming women and vice versa. And now there seems to be the case that obviously it's good to express your emotions and what you're feeling, but it seems to have gone the complete flip side of that with masculinity as well. So as I said, this is not this is a lot of just my opinions from what I've seen and what I think is a good option to go about it. This is not a dig at anything in particular, although I do see stuff that needs to be changed, so I'm just saying what I think. Because of these two extremes, I'll give the case of let's say a woman's looking to date a man. So society is very rigid. It's one or the other. So there's either the case they can go for this, what I've said before, this beta male, which is the quote-unquote nice guy, the people pleaser. And then the woman will often say, oh, this person's boring, I want the nice guy, but they're just boring. And the issue is, it's not that they're boring. The issue with the beta male is the fact that they are not saying what they want to say. They are just saying and doing things that will get them validation from the opposition party. In this case, it's the woman. So they are just saying, I don't know, yes, I like whatever it is. I like cupcakes. I like, watching romantic films when they necessarily may not say it, they may not like it. And they don't give their true opinion and truly what they want to do because they're just looking for validation. They don't have that, that authority. They don't have the willingness to stand in their own frame. That's the key bit. They can't stand in their own frame because they are lacking that inner confidence and inner belief. So what happens is one will go for the nice guy, and because they get bored, because they don't actually hear what they want to hear, there's no spontaneity, they go, sod this, alright, and then they tend to go to this quote-unquote alpha. The alpha, obviously, in a lot of cases, is the overly loud person, is a bit more dominant, and tends to be the person that, I'm just stereotyping here, but this is just going by what quite a lot of women say. This is generalising because a lot of society, unfortunately, can fall into one of these two categories, and often does. So what happened in this case, they might say, I don't know, oh, the alpha, he treated me like absolute shit, or he cheated on me, or whatever the case is, okay? Not all cases, this is just, generalising from what I've heard and seen on like some videos and stuff like that. So obviously because there's only one extreme or the other, there's nothing in between, they can either choose the nice guy, which is the people pleaser, or the alpha guy, which is going to treat them like crap. And the reason why they tend to go for this quote-unquote alpha is because they actually get in direct answers. The alpha guy is not afraid to just leave, walk away, because he'll just find another girl in this case. Even though there is the unpredictability, they might get cheated on, might get treated like crap, they still have a bit of spontaneity there, which women strangely like that. They prefer that over the safety of the rigid, robotic life. So that is where the issue lies, one extreme or the other. And in society, we still haven't managed to decide, to figure out if the beta just learnt some stuff from the alpha, whilst keeping the good traits that he has of the beta, the being respectful and all this stuff, it will be the perfect combo. Similarly, if the alpha learnt some of the skills from the beta, learnt maybe some more of a passive side, more of a emotional side, respectful, whilst keeping the assertiveness, the dominance. So he had a bit of both, it would also be the perfect combo. And the key would be to tap into each one as and when is necessary. So, for example, if you're in a position of authority, for example, you are a leader in your work, a leader in your job, you stand in your frame, you show your dominance in a respectful way, and you lead your team. When it might be the case, you're in a different scenario, it may be the case you can take a passive role. You don't need to be the leader overly loud, you let someone else take charge. So that's getting the balance between both. But unfortunately, we have an ego. Humans have a big ego. And in the case of the alpha males, they always want to be the center of attention. So, and it goes back to, as I said in the first video, I don't know if you guys have listened to that or not, but like I said, this one's the edited version. I said in that one, basically, that it goes back to the caveman days, back into our ancestor days. The person that was the strongest, the most dominant, would be able to survive in the tribe, would be able to hunt. So females would be attracted to that. Obviously now we do not live in those times. So what is seen as survival, quote unquote, is being able to be the person in society that stands out, that has people around them, that is social. So this is more like our survival now, as opposed to going to hunt for your food. Which is why a lot of men, especially in the alpha category, tend to overcompensate. And that is exactly the wrong route to take, because even the alphas are doing stuff for validation in a way, because it goes back to the inner confidences, a lot of the time overcompensated. So what am I trying to get to with this? The point I'm trying to make is we need a balanced approach, as I mentioned. Now, there's a newer category which I've heard of recently called the Sigma, which tends to be a bit more of an independent category. So these guys don't tend to follow the crowd. They don't really have their own tribe, so to speak. They're a bit more mysterious. They tend to be more reserved to themselves, but at the same time, they can actually go out and socialize if needs be. So the way I see it, this is almost like... It's like we've been given the two categories, the two main ones, let me say, the alpha and the beta, the two extremes. And clearly, in my opinion, neither of them are working properly. So it's almost as if there's been an attempt by something, I don't know, the universe, call it what you will, to implement at least a midway point, which is where the Sigmas come in. Obviously, I'm not saying this is the perfect way, because obviously there's flaws in every single archetype and every single person and group of people, but it does seem like so far this is the best approach to finding that middle way. And obviously it can be seen as a bit odd in society. People are thinking, oh my god, well, what if a person doesn't have a tribe? Why are they not out there being overly loud? Or, I don't know, particularly in social media, these type of people don't tend to be, that bothered about social media, don't care about the presence, don't really care about the rules in society. They know their own morality and actual ethics, but they don't just blindly follow the rules that are set by other people, whether that's people in authority or not. If they don't believe that it's the rule that's, fair on everyone, they just won't follow it. So this is the best approach at the middle way. And quite frankly, I quite like this way too. It's avoiding drama, It's, speaking directly and authentically. And quite frankly, it does go by a lot of just, ethical rules, talking in some spirituality or religious scriptures and stuff, like speak directly with your words, avoid gossip, don't stab people in the back, stuff like this. So the way I see it is, rather than trying to fit ourselves in one particular category, I do believe we should learn from all of the categories and ultimately pick the best of all of them. So don't just be alpha dominant, this, assertive macho and stick to that. Be open-minded enough to learn from someone that is opposite to you. Look at what traits they have that is good. Apply that to your own self. And the traits that you perhaps see as bad in the opposition, try to make a conscious effort to work on it within yourself so that you don't display those bad traits. And if everyone did that, we would actually see ourselves as a mirror when we meet people. We'd see each other as, a way to, as like feedback almost. You'd meet one person, you'd look at them and say, perhaps I don't like this trait about them. Ask why. Why do you not like this trait about them? More often than not, you don't like that trait about them because it reflects something within you that is unhealed. So we can use that as an opportunity. I don't like this trait. Why is that the case? This is unhealed within me. Okay. So this is the trigger point that I need to work on. So we can look to heal that within us and then apply the good traits that we like from the other person in ourselves, and hopefully the other person will do the same with themselves too. So that's the way I see it initially. Obviously, this is just my opinion. It's something I've been doing, and it's worked quite well for me. A lot of people are not even going to bother to do this, unfortunately, because they are so stuck within their identity. But ultimately, that's the way I see it going forward. Use your people that you come across as a mirror to see what you like and dislike about yourself. Apply the good traits that you like in yourself, and ultimately work on the traits that you don't like. Thank you for listening, guys, and have a great day.